Alexa, shut up. Alexa, shut up. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you. Thank you very much. Big hand for Stevie, everybody. Big hand. Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, it is the Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff Birthday Spic-Tacular. That's right. You're here for it. I'm actually here for it. I am 48 years old today. Welcome, one and all, to my my listener party, I guess, if you want to call it that. Oh, my God. It is September 10th in the year of our Lord 2018, and it is my birthday. Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff's Birthday Spic-Tacular. Thank you for joining me, if you're able to. I've been having some issue with my Facebook page lately, so... I'll try to get it out there. I will. I really will. But thank you for being here, everybody. I tell you what's funny for me is that this birthday today, I'm actually not really going to do anything. Okay, I'm not going out to party. I'm not going out drinking. I haven't had anything to drink since Saturday, to be perfectly honest with you. I figured, if my birthday's on a Monday, who wants to celebrate their birthday on a Monday? I wanted to celebrate it on on a weekend, and I'm close to the weekend. And this way it gave me a chance to just be quiet, be home today, a little quiet reflection, maybe some meditation. And while I'm at it, maybe I'll just go off and suck every dick in West Hollywood. Yeah, right. Like any of those things are going to happen. But actually, no, we are not going out today. We're going to be going out tomorrow night. Because I am a little tired, and so is the Russian, because we did party a little bit on the weekend. Or, I'm just getting over my hangover. However way you want to look at it, okay? It's great. It's having a lot of fun here. By the way, I wanted to thank our friends Dave and Mary over in Long Beach for having us over last Saturday for their end of the summer salsa bash. It was a lot of fun. It was a gang of fun. There was lots of people there, and they've just got a nice little family home over there, and they had a water slide. So how freaking cool is that? All right. If I sound a little congested, I think I might be coming down with something. I don't know. But I'd like to thank them for that. Let's see. Besides bringing a bunch of salsas, which everybody did. And they had taco guys there. I mean, that's just awesome, And what else was going on? Oh yes, like I said, they had a few contests for like best salsa, spiciest. The Russian herself got the award. I posted this on Facebook so you can see it. Posted the award for best original with her fire roasted pepper salsa, which is delicious and is good for a lot of things. We even took some of it and made a sofrito out of it, which is basically a seasonings rub or sauce. You put it in a blender, break it down to smaller parts, and it's just delicious. So much thanks to her for putting that out there. And I made my world-famous jalapeno margaritas. We brought freaking 2 gallons of that stuff, maybe more. And because it was like a full-on, liter of tequila, half a bottle of triple sec, some simple syrup, and some margarita mix. Put it all in there, slice up some jalapenos, and either mint, basil, or both types of leaves. Throw them in there. Mix them up, let it sit for about an hour. Take out all the vegetable matter out of there, the jalapenos and the basil and the mint, because otherwise it's going to just overpower the entire flavor of the drink. And it was delicious to the point where people asked me for the recipe, and it was a nice feeling. And they killed it, man. They killed it. So that was a lot of fun. Much thanks to them. Also, I don't have it with me right now, but I did. There is I believe it's a school lunch program that Mary is working with to make sure that kids eat at school, at least have a freaking meal a day, because the way that it works right now is so convoluted that kids are literally going hungry while schools are throwing out food. This is literally happening. Perfectly good food that they won't give to the kids because of how their current programs are being run. And that's something I'll be talking about in a later show, and I'll give you all the information where you can contact to maybe help them out, All right. I also want to give a big shout out to all of you guys out there who called me today or tried calling me today, sent me well wishes on Facebook and my email and my messaging, my messenger. Thank you very, very much. I'm sorry I could not get to you. Okay? Like I said, I'm working on my hangover. This is the best I've felt in about a day and a half. Okay? So you guys got to give me a break here. And besides, it's my birthday, so I get to do, what I want. But I will get back to you as soon as I can, to as many of you as I can. I mean, I didn't even call my sisters today. I didn't talk to them today. And I got 5 little sisters, and not like they sent me any presents. Either that or Amazon just doesn't know where I live anymore. But, But the only person I talked to today in reference to my birthday would be the Russian and my mom. Those are the only people I really talked to today. The Russian was nice enough to make me a wonderful home-cooked breakfast. It was delish. Eggs over easy, her special hash, and some toast. It was just off the hook. It was the best. It was the biggest meal I'd had in about, like I said, a day and a half. So I was able to actually eat it and enjoy it and keep it down, which is why another reason I didn't do a show earlier or talk to anybody earlier today. Because the last thing I want is for me to be hungover and I'm just talking to you and be like, oh, thank you for calling. I really appreciate it. Hold on. I didn't want that to be happening all day long. I'd rather do it here on the show. In any case, let's see. Is this gain on right? Make sure it's on right. Okay, I think it is. What else? What else are we talking about here today? Well, let's see. I've been reflecting a lot on the whole getting older thing, because I'm 48 years old now. That's almost 50. It really is. I mean, people can go around saying, oh, it's 50's the new 40. No, it's not. It's 50's 50, okay? Don't fool yourselves. And the average man in this country lives to be about 72 years old. So for me, that's, 24 years? That's not a whole lot of time. That's according to that statistic, 2/3 of my life is done, and now I'm going into the shitty years of my life. Where I'll be like shitting myself on a regular basis, and that's another thing that I thought was really funny is that as you age, your whole attitudes about aging really does change. Like I got a good buddy of mine, and he just turned 40, about 10 days ago. And he's really happy with it. He's good with it, It's like he's one of these guys that, I met out here a long time ago who thought he was going to be dead by 30, And he's not, obviously. And now he's spending more time with his family, he doesn't have a wife and kids, but he's spending time, with his siblings and his nieces and nephews and mom and dad and all that kind of thing, And he's really enjoying it, and he's got to a point where we talked about this where he doesn't give a shit what other people think about how his life is going right now because he's 40 and he accepts that, and he's actually enjoying it, and now he's thinking more, I guess, like an adult, and the biggest thing that I think he came to realize is he was not one of these people that ever really gave a shit about what other people thought anyway. But what I told him was, well, maybe it's that, maybe you got to the point where you don't give a shit as the 40-year-old you what the 25-year-old you thinks. Because that guy was a wild man. That guy was crazy. He was a complete asshole some days, And now you have you here. Now you've got to the point, that you don't care what that guy would think anymore. And that's something that I tried explaining to him like 8 years ago, when I turned 40, and it was just like, I told him, I don't care. It's like I'm 40. I'm an older man now. I'm getting old, and he was like, everybody always says that. It always pisses me off, And now he doesn't care what his younger self might think, which I think is a nice place to be, And it amazes me how our attitudes really do change with the passage of time. I know, like, for instance, you ever wonder how it is you get old people stuff in your house? It doesn't happen overnight. It happens little by little. You realize, you know what? I need some stuff in my house that make me more comfortable. I need to be able to own things that make me more comfortable, because I gotta tell you, not being comfortable when you're in your 40s is a lot more painful than not being comfortable in your 20s and 30s. All right? Not being physically comfortable, I mean. Like these days, it's like I wear Bermuda shorts pretty much every goddamn day. I have nice, loose-fitting, soft T-shirts. I have most of my dressier shirts are either Hawaiian or guayaberas, which is basically a Puerto Rican version of a Hawaiian shirt, but not as colorful, but a lot more pockets. Look it up. It's they're pretty awesome. But they're loose fitting, they're baggy, they've got that linen kind of feel to them, and or it's just nice, all of my shoes have orthotics. Each and every single pair of shoes I have, from the sneakers to the dress shoes to the work shoes to the boots, even my deck shoes. And I don't have a boat for any reason that I'd be wearing deck shoes, but they have orthotics in them. My sandals have orthotics. All right. Let's see what else. I have a lumbar roll in my car, to support my back, because sitting in the car a lot, it tends to pinch after a while. Having a lumbar roll in there, very nice, very comfy. Let's see. I own a squatty potty. Okay, yes, I own a squatty potty. One of those things that, those little plastic things that you just put like in front of your toilet, and it tucks in under the toilet. It's got the little U-shaped hole in it. But when you need to go poop, you grab it, you pull it out a little bit, you put your feet on it, it hikes your knees up to your ears, and it just spreads your cheeks, and then you're just able to go early a lot easier without a lot of strain, which is really nice, especially as you get older. I take fiber on a regular basis, daily. I take fiber, and I take some type of blend with turmeric and other natural pain relievers and anti-inflammatories like every day, because I want to keep the inflammation down in my body, and also, Advil fucks up my stomach. So, there you have it. And we'll get back to more of that right after we come back from this break. But for now, Alexa, resume. There you Alexa, shut up. I could just tell her to resume or to pause, but telling her to shut up really makes me feel good. Welcome back to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff Birthday Spic-Tacular. What was it talking? I was about to talk about attitudes in aging. And I know my attitude in aging has changed a lot over the years. Very specifically, just in dealing with other people. Honestly, it just I always wondered why old people are just so fucking rude all the time, because a lot of them are, and you know the ones I'm talking about. And now I get it. Now they don't care. They're like I said. 2/3 of my life are most likely over. I'm on my way out. I don't give a shit what you think. I'm going to be dead long before you are. You know, I had this. I've gotten to the point in my life where, you know, I can go to the store, you know, like the drugstore, and it doesn't matter how hot the chick behind the counter is. It doesn't matter. I will go up to that counter with a box of X-Lax and a box of enemas, a 3-pack, you know, and a big old bottle of whiskey. I don't give a shit what she thinks about me. And it's a nice feeling, actually. And the hotter she is, the better. You know, I used to be embarrassed to buy condoms when I was a kid. Now it's like I'll buy like a 36-pack and a gallon of Gatorade. I don't give a shit. You know, that's the beauty of it all. Oh my God, it's a, you know, it's, and yeah, when I do buy enemas, I buy the 3-pack. You know what? Because I can save money on it that way, and I have a coupon. All right, and if I'm backed up, I need to take a shit, man. I'm gonna work it. It's one of those things that when you get older, you know, you start doing things and saying things with your significant other that you never really thought of when you were a kid. You never really did. I never in my life thought that me and my significant other would have at least one conversation a day about our bowel movements. At least one per day. That it's just guaranteed, all right? We're talking, you know, color, consistency, how empty it made you feel. Do you think you need to go again? What kind of paper are you using right now? You know, you want an enema? I got a 3-pack. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, it's one thing when you get to a point in your relationship with somebody where you're farting in front of each other, but when you're actually talking about bowel movements, you know, it's every day, literally every day. You know, and neither of you has any shame or any embarrassment about it. You're just talking about it and giving each other advice. And, you know, I was like, well, I did have some beans today and some corn. Yeah. And it's bizarrely freeing. It really, truly, truly is. You know? Hell, we talk about when we pee. You know, the color of our pee, whether or not it was easy to pee. You know, the doctor said you got to keep an eye on that. And I was just like, yeah, I get it, yeah. You know, hemorrhoids are an easy topic now. Anal leakage, not an issue. You know, it's like you spend your whole life, you know, with your significant other or others, and not talking about that particular area of your body. You know, and then by the time you're in your mid-40s, it's an everyday conversation. It's a thing of beauty. Now, one thing I won't do, I refuse to poop in front of the Russian. I'm not going to do that. We're going to keep some vestiges of our romantic life, you know, still together there. I mean, that's going a bit far, you know. But here's the thing, though, you know, if it's needed, we'll do it. You know, like when I was in the hospital, I don't know, like 6, 7 or so years ago, maybe 8 by now. You know, let's say the nursing staff wasn't exactly attentive to my needs, and I was out of it. I was sick. I was on drugs. You know, prescribed drugs for the reason I was in the hospital, mind you. And they gave me some drugs, you know, because they needed me to go easier. And see, more poop talk. You know, and it turns out, I had no idea, but I had been going on myself and had no idea about it. My sense of smell was shot. And it turns out, she came in one day and she's smelling something and she checks me out. It turns out I was covered in my own filth. I was, And what did she do? Without blinking an eye, she wipes me down, she washes me off, and redresses me, and boom, didn't blink an eye. That's love. That's, screw you, I would die for you, I would kill for you. And it was like, I'd wipe your ass for you. That's what I call love. So it was, it's interesting to me, I find that my attitudes with my family have changed considerably. I feel myself trying to be closer with them because I grew up in a rather large family. And I grew up with my mother and my 5 sisters and my grandmother and my aunts and a bunch of my cousins. And as much as I love them, and I really, truly do, I needed to get away from them as much as humanly possible because I never had time to me. I as much as I could, I stayed away from my house. It didn't matter how cold or hot it was outside, or if I had no money and I had nothing to do. It was like I just wanted to be away from them, and I loved them. I really do, And when I get together with them, I have a really good time with them. And when I spent time with them when I was a kid, I had a good time with them, But I never even had my own room to sleep on. Okay, I never had my own bed. I either slept on the sofa or on a pull-out bed, the kind that folds up. You finally kind of get in a motel or something, and because I was the only boy in the house, I was with them and yet isolated at the same time. It was basically 6 against 1, 7 if there's 8 if you count my aunts, and look, it was all a bunch of women against me. That's how it worked. All right. Nobody was ever on my side for anything. Not that they were against me, but they were never on my side either. So it was something that, I wanted to get away from. I wanted to find people that were, my age, that had my interest, and back then we didn't. I didn't share any interest with my family, or for that matter, not even my mother in a lot of ways. Which is really bizarre because my mom and I, we always were very easy talking to each other, But after a while, we run out of topics to talk about because she's very religious and I'm not. I'm an atheist. So it got a little difficult, dealing with her on that level. And to this day, she's very religious. And for that reason, I don't like talking to my mother or my sisters on the phone, or pretty much anybody, to be perfectly honest with you. I really don't like talking on the phone very much. But, I like doing this. I like talking this way, But, look, it was just one of those things, it was just, we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And for a long time, we didn't. I mean, there's a reason most of my family now lives either in New York or Florida, okay? Because I needed to be away from them, and I needed to be far away from them to enjoy my life that way I wanted to enjoy it, but without them able to come over and visit easily. I didn't want that to happen, So for years, I went to go visit them, and then I got to the point where it's like, I don't feel like visiting. And now I look forward to them visiting me, and I look forward to visiting them as well, but still with some distance. Like when we go to visit my family, we stay in a motel or a hotel. My mother and my sisters, they're more than happy to have me stay with them, but I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen at all. Because I want to be able to, at the end of spending time with my family, to go, okay, we're going to go do something else now, whether it's, screw or, read the Bible, whatever, that's, we're going to do one of those, I think. You got to a point where you wanted some privacy in your life, and I never had any when I was growing up. So And I'm not a really private person, as you may well know. I'm telling you all this, and I was a stand-up comic for about 15 years, and I'm a talker, like I said, just don't like talking on the phone. But yeah, I needed not I don't know if privacy is the right word, but just alone time for myself, and also just time away from them. Because after 18 years with them, I needed a break. And now, now I find myself in the awkward position of wanting to reconnect with my family. Not that we're disconnected. We still talk every once in a while, but, our lives are so disjointed. Well, their lives are so disjointed from mine. I probably have the most different life of all my mother's children than my sisters, and a different attitude about it. And I don't know, maybe it's because they are female. Maybe because they like the whole nesting family protection together thing, and men are more prone, historically, statistically, to want to spend more time by themselves, to become loners, which incidentally is one of the reasons men die. And I know I've mentioned this to you before. The average man dies at 72. The average woman dies at about 79. Okay, and the reason for that is, this is a scary statistic. If a man's wife dies before he does, especially if he was like in his senior years, like early 70s, whatever, maybe mid 70s, if she dies before him, he is very likely, a good chance he's going to die within about a year or so, because men don't keep up social contacts. Because if a man dies before his wife, she will live on to live her normal lifespan, because she remains socially interacted with her friends, family. In my mother's case, church groups as well. Like I said, my mother has way more friends than I do. Okay, and she keeps in contact with her family way more than I do. And my sisters all keep up contact with my mother way more than I do. I call her on average, and I know you're gonna be critical of me of this. I call and speak with my mother on average about once every 2 to 3 weeks. I know I'm a horrible son, but my sisters, 2 of them, the twins, I think still live with her. Another one talks to her every couple of days. Another one she talks to every day, because my mother babysits her kids as much as possible, and she's taken on the mantle of taking my mother along wherever she goes. And then my last sister, the oldest one, she talks to my mother pretty much every day. She calls, says hello every day, or my mother calls, says hello to her every day. At me, 2 to 3 weeks. And I think I maybe call and talk to my sisters, or they call and talk to me, each one maybe 6 or 8 times a year. I say, it's not that I'm cold with them. They're not cold with me. We get along just fine. But it's like I don't feel this onus on myself, this impetus on myself to call people constantly, and stay connected with them constantly. And maybe, and I'm thinking maybe that's something I should work on for me, and for them and for the family in general. In any case, it's time now for another break. Alexa, resume. Alexa, shut up. Welcome back once again to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff Birthday Spic-Tacular. And if you're wondering why I call it a spectacular instead of a spectacular, you need to, brush up on your Puerto Rican insults just a little bit. All right, we are back, everybody. Talking about family, and I like to talk a little bit about friends, because I much like my family, I don't have a lot of friends I keep in contact with or regularly go see. Another side effect of having a large family, for me anyway. I know some of you out there, you love your gigantic families. You really do, I think it's important to have friends in your life. I think it's important to make friends, especially later in life. Did you know that the average person goes through a new set of friends about every 7 years? It's true. Absolutely true. More than likely, if you have a brand new friend right now, in about 7 years, you're not going to have any contact with them. I know, a little sad, And some friends I've managed to keep in contact better than with others, So a lot of that having to do, again, common interest. Because you have those friends, especially some work friends, they tend to be, that, you know them, you're friendly with them, you'll talk to them, maybe you'll go see a game or something with them. But you remember a time in your lives when you were a lot closer with them, and now you're not. And it's not like, you broke up with them or they broke up with you, but you just drifted apart. Life happens. It happens a lot when you change jobs, when you get married, when you have kids, when you move to a different city, hell, even just a different neighborhood. I live here in West Hollywood. If I have a close personal friend of mine that lives in the Valley, I ain't gonna go fucking visit them. Not on a regular basis anyway. So I understand why that happens. I suppose I had a lot more friendly people in my life with me when I worked in a more public setting. When I worked in like an office or a restaurant or a bar or a spa or any of these places where you're just forced to be there with these other people because that's your job, is to be there, right? Or maybe because you go to school with them. Well, who else are you gonna fucking be friends with, right? It's funny. One of the biggest comforts in my mother's life is, in fact, her religion. And like I said, thanks to that, she really has a lot more friends than I do, and she participates in her religious community, a great deal actually, while also participating with my rest of my family in a great deal. My mother and one of my sisters just recently went to Puerto Rico, and I'm like, really? Shit, do they even have power there yet? But they went, and they visited some folks. But on this one, though, they took a book out of my page, and they stayed in a hotel. Because I got to tell you, you got to love family, but not too close. Don't want them too close. Like I said, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my issue. But yeah, I feel like it's probably healthy for you. And it's funny, there's a guy I listen to on the radio all the time, Dennis Prager. You can find him on conservative radio stations here in LA on 870 The Answer, mornings starting at 9. And one of the things he always talks about is that you should, go court friendships the way you would court relationships, like a romantic relationship. You don't. Very few, a lot of times you don't, especially if you're a certain way, not a lot of people are going to go out and meet their soulmates at a bar. Not too many, okay? You're not going to find your soulmate at the club, you know? Doesn't happen all that often. As much as, these rom-coms would like you to believe, it doesn't really happen that often. More often than not, it's, maybe you might meet somebody at a social gathering, or you get introduced to somebody that that knows them, the old blind date thing, or the make-believe, accidental meetup, but very few people actually, wind up together that way. A lot of people in this country especially, they'll end up, getting together with somebody they know from work or somebody they know from church. Very, very, very common. It happens. That's probably the most common way I can think of, So, and in that vein, maybe you should, he suggests that, if you want more friends, then find something that you're interested in, that you'd like to learn more about. Maybe go out and take a class, if you're interested in cooking, which is one of the more common ones, you go take a cooking class. You'll meet people there, if you're interested in woodwork, or you're interested in painting, or, maybe doing a podcast. I had to learn how to do this podcast pretty much on my own, self-taught. And it worked out for me okay. I have a basic understanding of technology, but when I first started doing this, I did it with a friend of mine, and the right eye, and but now I'm doing it by myself, and I don't do it quite as often because you know how it is, motivating yourself to go do something. That's why they a lot of times they recommend you have a workout buddy, so that way you motivate each other to go to the gym together, and actually work out, or maybe go to a book club, and that kind of thing. I don't know. Like, this is just Joe the Shirt. I'm an old man now. Well, I'm not an old man. I'm a getting old man. I'm getting closer every day. And when you get to be around this age, you do start to think about your death a lot more often. You start to think about the finality of your existence, and what have you achieved, what have you done, and more importantly, what lives have you touched, and what lives have touched you, for either ill or good. I don't want to get too maudlin over here, because it is my birthday, but I'm not going to end today's session with that particular Stevie Wonder song. Excuse me. I'm going to see if I can get another one. I'm going to see if I can get this one for you guys to take us out. All right. Love you guys, and I thank you for listening. Alexa, play "I Just Called to Say I Love You."
I Just Called to Say I Love You, original soundtrack from The Woman in Red by Stevie Wonder.
There we go.
Starting now on Amazon Music.
I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff.